Whew. It's hard to breathe in there. Hi there. Just have the AtGames Sega Genesis here with wireless controllers, and I'm gonna just check it out. Whew. My lips chapped? I'm gonna go get some chapstick. Yeah. Hey there. Recently, Nintendo's been releasing a lot of consoles that are miniature and retro. Sega Genesis hasn't been doing something like that ever. But recently, AtGames has been developing these little consoles called the Sega Genesis AtGames. Let's check it out. It comes with two wireless controllers that connect to this. Originally, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought, a wireless controller? That beat out Nintendo. Nintendo didn't even have wireless controllers for the retro consoles. So this is new. But then I later came to realize that it uses infrared technology. Nothing really wrong about that, except people came up with it in the 70s and 80s. See, when I push a button here, it sends a signal, and it travels light waves over to this receiver. But if I'm not pointed exactly at it, it won't receive it. So, it's not the best controller. Jeez, my hair been messy this whole time? That's pretty bad. Okay. It also uses audio video instead of HDMI, which is really weird because audio video TVs are becoming way less common nowadays. What's really interesting, and it sets it aside from all those other games, is that it can play the original Sega Genesis games, which is pretty awesome. Now on the box it says it can't play all of them, but all the games that I've tried have worked. It has two simple buttons, an on and off switch and a menu button. The menu button brings you back to the menu, but you could also do that on the controller. So you can also play with wired controllers, which are recommended by me, by many others. Just use a wired controller if you're gonna get this. Now this console has a lot of games, and a lot of classics as well. You got Sonic, what's on this thing? You got your Bonanza Bros, where you're basically in Mortal Kombat 5, in Metal Gear Solid 11, and you're basically the two guys from Portal 2, and you're just infiltrating a giant McDonald's restaurant. See, in this one you got all three Mortal Kombat games. It's pretty cool. You can do all the fatalities, except I suck at this game. Really bad. I'm not Barakaka. This one's pretty cool. It's called Comic Zone, where you play as Stan Lee except super buff, and you get stuck on in his comic. You get a knife, a dagger, and a bomb, and you go in, and you got this one girl that's telling you what to do, and you jump around. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's look at the main screen of this thing. Whoa, what's happening in here? We got a giant fire core up there. We got big yellow lights going everywhere. Ectoplasm in the background. We got this little red bubble telling us what page we're on. And we got all these games. That's weird. But at least it looks like it's from the 90s. And what's even weirder is that more than half of the games aren't even from the Sega Genesis. See, after I started playing a lot of games, I came across a bunch of these. And I thought to myself, are these from the Sega Genesis? And I looked them up, and they weren't. They were from AtGames and some other third-party developers. Which is really weird, why they would add that onto a Sega Genesis console. Especially since Sega is still making games nowadays. See, these games are kind of educational, which had me thinking, this is meant for an audience that is way younger than what it's set for. Because the Sega Genesis was kind of meant for teenagers. It was made with Mortal Kombat in mind and blood and gore. It was the first system to bring the ESRB together. So it's kind of weird seeing little games meant for kindergartners on this console. On the box, it says 15 and up. I gotta show you some of my favorite ones, which are the worst ones. This is a basic memory game called Yawning Triceratops. Man, I hate this game. Not only is it super duper pooper easy, you can do it with your arms tied behind your back, blindfolded, while tied to a bomb. There's also this never-ending looping sound effect of a Triceratops yawning. It is insane. Oh boy, I got a treat for you guys. You're not gonna believe what is next up for you. Mr. Balls? Wait, Mr. Balls. Mr. Balls? Make it stop! Who woke up one morning and decided to make this? Who thought, I should make a game called Mr. Balls? Who did this? Who thought this would be a good idea? Who, in their right mind, has loved ones, would do this? Why would somebody do this? How could they do this? I don't understand. Mr. Balls is a puzzle game. It's not fun. Definitely not fun. Starring a ball with a weird hand thingy named Mr. Balls. The story starts where a man went to sleep. He didn't wake up. Instead, he woke up in his dream as a ball, surrounded by several other balls. He went by the name Mr. Balls, but he knew for a fact he was the one and only Mr. Balls. No one else could be. They were all imposters. After years and years of nobody playing his game, he slowly forgot who he was. And suddenly, everyone was Mr. Balls. Yet no one was Mr. Balls. You've also got this ear-bleeding music in the background. Oh my god! Ah! Oh no!
also noticed that the sound quality of normal games wasn't really that well. Just listen to the title screen of Comic Zone. I don't know why, but there's something wrong about the audio. I don't own an original Sega Genesis, but I'm pretty sure it had 2 audio channels. This console only has 1 audio channel, which may be the answer to this. But I could just be getting things mixed up, and AtGames kinda messed up on this. Either way, you're gonna have fun on this thing.
Do I recommend it? Yes and no. Depending on your outlook, do you want HD graphics? Do you want high quality audio? Or do you just want a console that has a lot of cool games and you can play them for a good price? These aren't that expensive. These are about the price of a normal Xbox, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch game. They're not too expensive. And there are some out there that I saw that have wire controllers. I recommend getting that one. Don't get the wireless controllers. That will suck. Well, I'm gonna go play some Sonic the Hedgehog and some Comic Zone. Peace out.